Some senators are working on a literal First Amendment crackdown at the moment. That may sound extreme, but it's totally true. Senators working to slip Israel anti-boycott law through in lame duck. Democratic Senator Ben Cardin is making a behind-the-scenes push to slip an anti-boycott law into a last-minute spending bill being finalized during the lame duck session, according to 4 sources familiar with the negotiations. The measure, known as the Israel Anti-Boycott Act, was shelved earlier amid concerns about the infringement of free speech after civil liberties groups argued that the original version would have allowed criminal penalties for Americans who participate in a political boycott of Israel. Some of the more aggressive elements of the provision have been removed under pressure, but the American Civil Liberties Union, which spearheaded the initial opposition to the bill, is still strongly opposed. In a letter to Congress, the ACLU warned that the amended version still creates unconstitutional restrictions on free speech. Quote, "We understand the Senate is considering attaching a revised version of S-720 to the end-of-the-year omnibus spending bill, and we urge you to oppose its inclusion," reads a letter dated December 3rd. And then they go on and they say, the Israel Anti-Boycott Act, which was introduced last year by Cardin and Senator Rob Portman, a Republican of Ohio, would amend the 1979 Export Administration Act to allow penalties for companies who join boycotts of Israel called for by international institutions. So like the United Nations or the European Union, who've done that. The new version clarifies that people cannot face jail time for participating in a boycott, but the ACLU has argued that it still leaves the door open for criminal financial penalties. And just so you know, as of right now, 25 states have implemented their own anti-BDS laws, which, if I'm not mistaken, there are court cases about those that are proceeding at the moment, because it's a unconstitutional crackdown. So what's interesting about this is think about it in any other context. Oh, we don't have an anti-Israel boycott law, but we're going to say you're not allowed to boycott Saudi Arabia. Imagine you're not allowed to boycott Russia. That would be laughed out of Washington, D.C. But they're seriously proposing, like, no, we're going to punish you if you join on to the financial boycott of Israel because you're against illegal settlements. It's unbelievable. So I've honestly never seen a clear crackdown of freedom of speech, and it's not talked about in that way. Now, credit to The Intercept, who's done some great work actually covering this, but, all the free speech warriors, and there are a lot of them nowadays, what's crazy is when they're faced with a literal crackdown on freedom of speech, not just the principle of it, but the legality of it, the actual amendment itself, the First Amendment, nowhere to be found. 25 laws cracking down on free speech to support an Israeli boycott? Nope, don't care, not going to talk about it. Laws in Washington, D.C. being proposed. So it's okay, we're not going to jail you. We're going to fine you. That's still a violation of free speech. Still a violation. So it's amazing how people can bend over backwards to miss the issues that they even say they care about. And it's almost like there are a lot of political hacks out there. A lot of political hacks, if I don't say so myself.